Toy Stories!
Deep in the woods lived a little old lady. When the sun shone brightly, her cottage was shady. It's nice on my own, she would think to herself as she stacked her bread loaves on the wonky old shelf. It's peaceful and quiet, and there's no need to share. But secretly she wished that someone would care. Someone to love her, to give her a smile. Someone to cook for, just once in a while. She was lonely, you see, this little old lady, but the people in the village all said she was crazy. Don't stop by that cottage, the mummies would warn. She'll eat you for dinner, with spaghetti and corn.
But have you ever met her?
The children would question. Not exactly, said the daddies, but her hat's worth a mention. It's pointy and black, like the rest of her clothes, and I've heard she's got fangs and an ugly hooked nose.
But have you ever seen her?
The little one said. Not exactly, said the mummies. Now go off to bed. That night as the wind blew over the house, the littlest lay silent, as quiet as a mouse. Whilst thoughts of the lady grew deep in his mind, he wanted to meet her, to see what he'd find. Was she really that scary? He wanted some proof, so he decided to find her and seek out the truth. So the very next day, quite early in the morning, he crept out of bed whilst the others lay yawning. He packed a little bag with some water and snacks and picked up some paint to mark out his tracks. Into the woods the little one ran.
I'll be back before lunch and as quick as I can.
As he walked through the woods, his mind started racing at the thought of the lady and what he'd be facing. He stopped for a rest by a pretty nice lake, when crept out of the water a slippery snake. "Hello," said the snake. "Where might you be heading?"
To meet the old lady, her face I am dreading.
"If you want my advice, you should be very wary. I've heard she's got spots and her eyeballs are hairy."
But have you ever seen her?
Said the boy to the snake, and the snake curled in circles and started to shake. "Well, no, I've never seen her. I wouldn't risk my life. I've got 2 young snake children and a beautiful wife."
But then how do you know she's so ugly and mean? If you've never even met her, she's never been seen.
"You should listen to your elders, accept what we say. The old lady is trouble. Turn around, run away." But the boy had to meet her, prove them wrong if he could, so he left the old snake by the lake in the wood. A little while later he reached some big rocks, so he sat down to rest and along came a fox. "Why, hello, young laddie. These woods are quite scary. You should exercise caution and be very wary."
I'm fine,
said the boy.
but thank you for caring. I'm in search of the old lady. I know it's quite daring.
"The old lady? By golly, stay away from her place. She'll turn you into stone with one look at her face. She's got horns on her head and huge warts on her toes, and she hates little children. That everyone knows."
So you've seen the old lady?
The boy asked, quite hopeful. "Why no, she's a loner and quite antisocial."
So she doesn't have friends?
Said the boy, quite concerned. "She's alone and rejected." Now that he had learned, the boy knew in his heart that the lady was good. So he left the old fox by the rocks in the wood. And on through the woods he walked fast by the trees, catching twigs on his face and scraping his knees. When along the stone path he spotted some feet. Were they the old lady's? His heart missed a beat. He sat down on a log just next to a brook and kept very quiet, for now he'd just look. With much bated breath, feeling anxious and scared, the boy ate his sandwich. He'd come quite prepared. And suddenly a creak and the turn of a handle, and out stepped a lady holding on to a candle.
She's coming to get me!
And the boy closed his eyes. And what happened next filled the boy with surprise. There were no big warts or ugly hooked nose, no black hat or long fans, no warts on her toes. The old lady just stood there and smiled at the boy. Her face was quite pleasant, her eyes full of joy. As the boy sat there shaking with tears down his cheek, The old lady crept closer and started to speak. "Come closer, little boy. I mean you no harm. I'm a kind, frail old lady, no cause for alarm. I've been living alone in these woods for so long. I would never harm anyone, I've never done wrong." And the boy stood up slowly, with a shake and a twitch, and nervously he said,
They'll say you're a witch. They'll tell me you're wicked and to stay away from you. But I thought they were just stories. I knew they weren't true.
"You're a very wise boy. You thought with your heart. You used your own spirit right from the start. You've got passion and drive, that's so clear to see. And you didn't accept what they said about me."
Will you come to my village and meet Mum and Dad? I want them to see that you're really not bad.
"Oh, I'm really not sure. They're all scared of me."
Just trust me. It'll be okay. You'll see.
And he held out his hand for the lady to hold. And through the boy's grace he entwined young and old. Through the boy's kindness, and because he was good, the boy saved the old lady who lived in the wood. Once it was clear she'd been good all along, the grown-ups accepted that they had been wrong. And when the old lady looked at her reflection, she saw someone cherished and filled with affection. For the children all loved her and felt so much glory as they sat on her knee and she told them a story of a lady who lived alone in the wood and was saved by a boy who knew she was good.
If you enjoyed watching this video, please like and subscribe.
Toy Stories.